marching as to war, with the cross of Jesus going on before. Christ the royal master leads against the foe. Forward into battle, see his banners go. Onward, Christian soldiers, marching as to war, with the cross of Jesus going on before. Oh, for a faith that will not shrink, though pressed by every foe, that will not tremble on the brink of any earthly woe, that will not murmur or complain beneath a chastening rod, but in the hour of grief or pain will lean upon its God. A faith that shines more bright and clear when tempests rage without, that when in danger knows no fear, in darkness feels no doubt. Lord, give us such a faith as this, and then whate'er may come, we'll taste and hear the hallowed bliss of an eternal home. A charge to keep I have, a God to glorify, a never-dying soul to save, and fitted for the sky, to serve the present age, my calling to fulfill. Oh, may it all my powers engage to do my Master's will. Arm me with jealous care, as in thy sight to live, and O thy servant, Lord, prepare a strict account to give. Help me to watch and pray, and on thyself rely. Assured if I my trust betray, I shall forever die. Rise up, O men of God, have done with lesser things. Give heart and mind and soul and strength to serve the King of Kings. Rise up, O men of God, his kingdom tarries long. Bring in the day of brotherhood and end the night of wrong. Rise up, O men of God, the church for you doth wait. Her strength unequal to her task, rise up and make her great. Lift high the cross of Christ, tread where his feet have trod. As brothers of the Son of Man, rise up, O men of God. Onward, Christian soldiers, marching as to war, with the cross of Jesus, go.
We're supposed to go to chatting too. There's two of us.
I don't know.
We got to work on the automatic swing switching. Swing skitching.
Good evening.
Let's edify one another, shall we? A challenge with professionalism and shenanigans.
I think we already have done a thorough job at that part.
Right.
Here you go, guys. You get to watch the introduction like 4 times and then call it good.
Well, that was our stream for the night. Hope you've been edified. Oh, now that we're half an hour late.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that happens.
It does. It does.
Believe it or not, we have successfully pulled it off. We are live
Right.
in person, and we might be here, if not there, because we're not all there.
Yeah, we're all here because we're not all there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You know, one thing that has not. What happened to it?
I don't know.
It's not there.
I don't remember what it is we're talking about, but yeah, I don't know. Hello, Reba!
Hey, sister. How's it going?
Has blown your cover.
Hey, sister, soul sister.
She hasn't said hi yet, but Facebook blew her cover.
Ha 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 ha.
Mm-hmm. Your cover has been blown.
Pull in the widget. We're gonna go to viewer count. We want to add the scene. Okay, so.
Are you done?
All right. Now, app settings.
Excuse me.
Don't want that one. Don't want that one. Don't need that one. We're good there. Boom.
Oh no! You're sharing a screen without sharing your system sound. Well, fine. Be that way.
Hello, CJ. He's packing it all in. He's going to bed.
He's packing. What you packing?
You know, you're supposed to have that done already so you could be going to bed.
Mm-hmm. Makes life a little easier. Fun fact. In case you didn't know.
It's hump day. We on the downhill slide now.
Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty.
So he can't comment on Facebook, but he's going to comment on YouTube.
Yes. He's special. You know, Humpty Dumpty was a canon.
Hey, we're going to have to add that in. What in the world?
Isn't it a busy day every day, CJ? Ooh, the little widget showed up. Aww. This is your warning. Both of us are extremely tired. So,
And filthy.
yeah, we're dirty.
I mean, see the dust all over? I've been crafting today. Oh, Facebook will not allow his comments again.
Can you blame it? I mean, yeah. You ever notice how the whole Humpty Dumpty thing never says he's an egg?
hmm It doesn't.
They did some research and found out he was a cannon.
It's theoretically, anyway. A
Yeah.
lot of people speculate that
Mm-hmm.
a cannon in a tower.
Yes. Or on a wall.
Blew things to bits.
Mm.
I fall to
Fall
pieces.
to- And the king's men can't put me back together again. Reba is lurking.
Just lurking.
Just lurking. And Facebook says Pat's watching.
Hi, Pat. We've got
Facebook
two
grew your
people on
temple
Facebook.
down.
I need to make that bigger.
And move it over.
Oh, it's locked right at the moment, but
How is it?
you can unlock it.
Ooh, I can play with it, can't I? Ha 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 ha. Yes. That's nice. That's bad. Don't do that.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
I like that. And I can even.
Too late. Raccoona splatter. What a
What a
wonderful phrase.
wonderful.
Raccoona splatter.
Ooh.
Ain't no passing phrase.
It's our problem free philosophy.
You forgot a phrase. What? It means no worries
Yeah.
for the rest of our days. It's our problem free
Nope. Nope.
philosophy.
Not
Anyway,
big.
that's. I'm waiting for Alicia to. I think she's already done the tagging, but I don't know what else she's doing.
No one does.
No one does. But we might as well get into Second Peter because
No, I
I
mean,
think
she has done tagging.
no, no.
What's he doing?
He just couldn't resist. He wanted us to do to stream so he could go to bed. He wanted us to stream on Wednesday night so he could go to bed. And what's he do? He stays up late packing and then enters in the stream anyway.
Mm-hmm.
He just cannot stay away.
No,
Absolutely.
sounds like someone else.
Oh. Hey, we got one person on Rumble. Hello,
Yeah.
Rumble.
Hello, Rumble.
No,
Okay.
I want you to do what you said you were going to do. Hello, welcome to my everyday.
As I said, isn't every day busy, CJ?
The house is smelling really good. We got tomatoes simmering right now. Ezra and I, after afternoon route today, because it was an early out, Ezra and I went out to mom and dad's, and Ezra picked an entire 25-pound molasses tub full of
Tomatoes.
tomatoes.
Oh, and by the way, Facebook says Donald is watching.
Hello, Donnie.
Howdy, howdy. Your Facebook has blown your cover. You're done.
Wah, 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 wah. That one didn't even play. Did it play for you guys?
Yeah, it played.
Weird. It must be because CJ entered in because I couldn't hear it.
Yeah, he was talking. Yeah, CJ always interferes with your stuff.
I know. No, all it was static. I think it was coming through your hall of speakers.
Raccoon and Kirschblad.
Are you frozen?
Well, I am now.
Oh,
Now I'm not. So let me see if I can hear that now. Nope. Still can't hear it.
CJ just ruining everything like normal, as per normal. Most
Be
destructive
right back.
force in the universe. Yeah, we don't know why you ended up in here either. Congrats. No. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it is, isn't it?
And now I'm frozen.
hmm So I sound like a loony because they can't hear CJ, and I'm having a full-on conversation. But then again, me sounding loony isn't anything.
Now I can't hear anything.
Hmm. Yours truly.
Nothing. And I'm frozen.
Not on my side. And I can hear you. Mm-hmm.
hey!
That's CJ. It's his camera.
Stop it!
No. Get out of there. Some people has to crash a stream. Is that like photobombing?
Hang on. Back again. At least I'm not frozen this time. But I still can't hear my.
I'm
Can't hear
going
you.
to conclude that that's like photobombing. Just with CJ. No. Please stay tuned as we wait for him. Yes. Yes, it is. It's going great. Until you entered and destroyed it maliciously. Most destructive force in the universe. I tell you. I rest my case on that claim. I gotta say, my
Hi, Sheila.
my camper exists outside of the universe. In a different environment. No, you just can't destroy it. Yes, we will. Hello, Sheila. I don't think that's the reason why we did that. Yeah, you did. Ha ha!
Sure, you did.
Huh. Well, you swapped around to the front side. Um, and we can't hear you. Fun fact. And the whole house. Pants, shirt, socks, shoes, sweatshirt, just in case, beanie, hat, stocking cap, just in case. No, you won't need a coat. Unless, of course, it snows. But, yeah, a sweatshirt will be sufficient. Or a sweater, or whatever, and just an outer layer. Well, last year, you couldn't find your sweatshirt. It was in the bottom of your bag, hidden, and you didn't find it until you left. Are you existing now?
Hello, Angie.
Hey, we heard you.
Can you hear me now?
You are more blurry than a Picasso painting, but yeah, we can hear you.
It must be something with Steve because I
Yeah.
back to not hearing anything.
We are experiencing technical difficulties, Sheila. Yeah, go ahead, leave. Get on. Scram. Bye, CJ.
What in the
Maybe
world?
that'll return Dad to normal. Well, as normal as he gets. Ooh. Mm. Hello, Sam. Hello, Angie. Hello, Sheila. Hello, everybody. We are trying to prepare for our. Oh, you're sideways now. We don't know. You weren't gone long enough. You turned Dad sideways, though. He left. Oh, you're restarting your phone. You left. You left. He left. He came back. You came back at the exact same time, and he went sideways. And now he's restarting his phone. And anyone wondering, I'm talking to CJ, who is just lurking in the background. So, if your conclusion that I was crazy, that's also a viable conclusion. But I am talking to someone besides myself currently. Don't forget your phone. I knew it. Well, Sam, some rivers are longer than others. CJ, did you get that? I said some rivers are longer than others. That's dumb. Anyways, Angie says CJ always lurking. That would be correct. And he's fiddling around with the universe. In case anyone's wondering, do not ever give CJ a universal controller. It will not end well. He would manage to delete himself and the universe. Well, that certainly can be true, Sam. But normally, I end up talking to myself because I'm the only one that knows what I'm talking about. What? CJ. Yeah, I mean, yeah. We can clear a time spot for you. Throw you under a bus somewhere and let you do that, yeah. The T made it in. She says, "Hi, family. What did I miss?" So you've missed about 30 minutes worth of sheer and total randomness. Oh, and you missed CJ clobbering Dad's connection. Oh, he made it back.
And I still can't hear anything.
CJ, go back to YouTube.
See you, Sheila. Good evening, Sister T.
Oh. Yes, Sister T. We see you. Good night, Sheila. You better go get some sleep, sister. If you're running on less than 4, you better go. Love you. Have a good night's rest. Sleep well.
No, I absolutely cannot hear anything. And it all happened. It typically seems to happen anytime that CJ comes into the stream. Either his audio messes up or my audio messes up. And it looks like my stream is messing up.
Yeah, now your stream's having mental difficulties. Sister T says, I bet. Angie says, isn't your mic? No. Sister T says, I hear you. Yeah, we can hear him, but he can't hear me, which is a problem. Kind of makes for a one-sided conversation. And it had a mental difficulty again. Boop. Gotta love technology. It's just great. I hope I was laying on the sarcasm I'm thinking of. Well, while we wait, Well, Sam, we're always related to someone somewhere. Seems like. I would. I wondered about that, Sister Angie, because they were.
Hey, I've got audio now.
Yay!
There you are.
You're. I wondered about that, Angie. Because, yeah, they were saying that we're supposed to get some extremely bad, horrible, smoky weather here from like 4 today for a while. And I was like, well, where's the fire? And no one told us.
They said something about it yesterday.
Mm hmm. Well, I guess from what Larry said, they
Now
don't.
my camera's frozen.
Not on our side.
Hmm.
Facebook sees you
Oh
well.
well,
I see
I'm
you.
gonna worry about it.
Prayers for Florida and his
It might
family.
catch up. It might not.
It might not. Sam says, really? Go figure.
Yeah, really.
Really? Yep. I assure you, we're related to someone somewhere. Confiscate EV
It,
West?
it it might get you banned.
Yes. Problem solved. I wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me. I gotta say. Okay, so tech problems seem to be resolved for now.
Relatively.
No,
No, he's not.
I I'm naturally
Sam,
very warm.
Sam, um, I'm not going to go into speculation, uh, and because that's not the purview of this.
Stream or
No,
channel.
it's second Peter class. Now that we've
Mm-hmm.
got relatively the
Mm-hmm.
stuff tech, and there's a lot of information and misinformation out there, and there's something that God gave every single person on this earth, and it's called a brain, the
Well,
ability
you're
to
one.
reason. Well, no, he gave them all a brain, all of us a brain,
I'm joking.
and whether or not we utilize the ability to reason is entirely up to the person who has that brain. So, if you want to know about chemtrails, there's a lovely thing entitled Google and Bing and web search, and have at it. Uh,
Go have fun.
make up your, and therefore you can make up your own mind. So, well, CJ, there's a lovely thing called Google and Bing and web search. You want to know what that is? Um, have fun and make up your own mind. We're into Second Peter chapter 2. I'm not exactly sure what.
CJ, I don't know how you managed to pull off mixing yourself into.
Hey! Hey!
Get out. All the ones that involve Bible have you slapped in them.
What, you have more?
Oop, bye. I eliminated him. Well, no, Yeah. Where
So,
did you go?
boom.
You
All right.
vaporized yourself. I didn't delete you. I just hid you. There's a little eyeball. If you mouse over it, a little eyeball. Click the eyeball. You become invisible, like this. Yeah. There's an eyeball. Oh.
Boop. Hey, CJ, there's a suitcase calling your name.
Not very hard, I gotta say.
You're not. You're not supposed to be dying. You're supposed to be. Hey,
Please.
he said, "I'm dying." Well, as in the immortal words of Master Yoda, there is no try. There's do or do not.
Wow. I could do this to you.
Ouch.
I'd have to agree. But that's interesting.
He rounded the corner.
Mm-hmm. So now you're like me. I don't know how I got rounded, but I did, so.
The funny thing is, I'm still frozen on my end. I'm trying to let it go. Let it go. I've let it go. Let it go. Anyway, all right. So I believe that we got to verse 10.
There we are. Maybe. Aha. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's better.
I mean, I believe we left out at verse 10 of
Mhm.
2 Peter chapter 2.
Yeah, I think you're right. Gamora delivered a lot. Yeah, we did that. Yep, the
I'm
Lord.
going to pick up.
10. Yep, that looks about where we were at.
So let's just kind of begin in verse 9 and pick up there just to get the thread here. Um,
How much?
God knows how to deliver the godly out of temptation and to reserve the unjust under the day of judgment to be punished. Peter has just used the example of Lot uh, as his basis for this statement, and we know that God sent messengers to Lot and said, "Hey, you got to get out of this town. God's going to destroy it." And he tried to bring his daughter's husbands with him, but he seemed as one who was jesting. And so, his daughter's husbands, his, um, from what we can tell, other daughter's husbands, he still had two at home that were unmarried. Um, didn't they stayed behind and were destroyed? Well, God delivered Lot out of Sodom, and um, if he can do that, verse 9 tells us that he knows how to deliver you and I out of temptation. He knows how to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment, because what did he do to Sodom and Gomorrah? He judged them.
He sentenced them to judgment.
Now, notice verse 10 here. He says, "But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness and despise government," despise authorities.
Ooh, we did cover on that part. I remember.
"Presumptuous are they, and self willed. They are not afraid to speak evil of dignitaries or dignities." Probably morning.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So he
Mm.
says now he's going. God knows how to reserve the unjust under the day of judgment, chiefly those who walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness and despise authority.
What did it? There, okay.
So he kind of has an overall category, and then he breaks it down into two separate ones. You have the unjust, chiefly those that walk after the flesh, chiefly those that um, despise government, or chiefly those that walk after the flesh and despise government, despise authority. What do we call that when they despise authority?
Um,
What's another way to say that?
despise authority.
Alicia?
Well, you could say, in a sense, they hate order.
Got to take you over the Old Testament. 2 Samuel chapter 15.
They reject me, not you.
First Samuel 15, rather. Verse 23.
For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he hath also rejected thee from being king.
Now, Samuel here is telling Saul that he is being rebellious, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why is he considered rebellious?
He went against God's orders.
Which means
Didn't take God's authority.
he despised God's authority, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Samuel said in verse 22, hath the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams.
Mm-hmm.
Those who despise authority are rebellious. They're not going to obey, now are they?
No.
And what we see prevalent nowadays are, especially here in the United States, are people who are going around and wantonly flaunting their disobedience, their rebelliousness against authority on any level. There are so many videos being put out. You stumble across them on Facebook, on YouTube, on Rumble, on of people who are quote unquote watching the police, even or who are um, they're just going around. They videotape these supposed infractions by the police. And what's happening is they're the ones that are causing an issue, and then and then rebelling against simple lawful orders or requests. X, yeah, you're right, Sam. Where Hey, can you roll down your window? No, I refuse. Here's my information. I'm uncomfortable. And they, what's your name? I don't have to give you my name. Well, it's the law that obey give me this, your name and information. That's against the Constitution, and they go and they are rebellious against authority. And then there's those, as we saw just a few years ago, where they totally rebel against all authority and create their own little cities within, mini cities. Remember Chaz and the city of Chaz in Seattle, Washington. And so we have people that are walking after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness, and they're despising authority. And it doesn't just happen out there in the world where you have people that are rebelling against any authority or against certain authorities, but they're also, uh, it also happens within the church where you have people that are rebelling against God's authority because they don't agree with the elders or they don't agree with the men or well, I don't think that's what that passage means. And so what we see is, but we see them then despising authority, ultimately God's authority. God knows how to reserve those unto the day of judgment, and that should scare us.
Naturally, our beloved Sister T.
Totally off topic.
Noticed you had a haircut.
Yeah, she can't tell me which one though.
No, she doesn't know which hair, but she can
Yes.
tell you had one.
No, I didn't get all of them cut. Um, and what was that?
What?
A noise. Anyway. Hmm.
No, I was breathing deeply, pulled in a big
Oh,
breath through my nose, and let it
I
out.
thought somebody tried to play some music or something.
No, no.
Okay, so
I am musical, but no.
these people who are, these people who are unjust, the ones that are walking in the flesh, in the lust of or after the flesh, in the lust of uncleanness and despising government. Peter says they are presumptuous. What's the definition of presumptuous?
Hmm. Um, self-willed?
No.
No. Oh, yeah. Well, sometimes it doubles up.
Sometimes it actually is.
It's called, what is it? There's a word for it. The Hebrew did it all the time. We covered it in grammar class. It is a common thing in Hebrew literature to double or triple use the same word, basically, for added effect.
Presumptuous is the act of presuming.
Mmm.
What do you do when you
Thanks,
presume?
Strongs.
I mean, what do you do when you presume? And you're welcome.
Yeah, you're acting on a presumption or assumption, something speculative. So you're acting on something that may or may not be true.
Yeah, to assume as true, take for granted,
Mm-hmm.
to take upon oneself boldly or rashly, venture. When someone says, "Well, you know, I just have trouble seeing a loving God condemning someone to hell," what are they? And somebody just, CJ, are you playing with with the scene? I don't need that. It's distracting. No, no,
No,
I'm not.
no,
I set it that way for a reason.
naughty. Don't touch.
I set it that way so that we could get the most out of of the text, out of the size of the text, without having, because we don't need to have all the rest of it.
Well,
If we want to read what's on the Strongs, we can actually pin it over there so that everybody can see it
yeah,
better.
I could move
Um,
it. Oh, weird. Where'd that go? Bye. Hmm.
what are you looking for?
Trying to figure out how to move it.
No, you're not going to once you hit the bottom. We can change the format of it, but it's beyond the scope right now. Let's get back
Yeah.
to class.
Anyways, let's decide anything.
Um,
So yeah, presumptuous. Assuming, acting on.
so what they're doing before CJ presumed to do stuff, um, is they're taking upon themselves to determine what is and is not acceptable. They're taking upon themselves the job of God, are they not? God has said He's going to accept this and this, and they said no, that's not what God's going to do, right? Um, when someone says, "Well, baptism isn't necessary for salvation," yet God has said baptism is necessary for salvation. What is a person doing but one, despising authority, two, walking after his own or her own lust, walking after the flesh in lust, because they're fulfilling their own selfish desires. Well, I don't want to get wet, so I don't not, so baptism doesn't save us. And two, three, they're being presumptuous. They're presuming to stand in the place of God and determine what is and is not acceptable unto salvation. It doesn't work that way. God says it's my way or the highway, right? Jesus is the one that paid the sacrifice, that bought you your freedom. Therefore, Jesus is the one that gets to determine what you will do to receive said freedom. You, as the petitioner, as the beggar, do not get to choose what you will and will not do. Right. So Peter says they are presumptuous. They are self-willed, and they're not afraid to speak evil of dignities. Well, you know, think of it in terms of this, O'Shea. If if someone was to come up to you and say, "I don't believe that baptism is necessary for salvation," and you take them over to First Peter chapter 3, First Peter chapter 3, verse Uh, 21 or 20 and 21. Which says,
The like figure, whereunto even baptism doth also now save us, not the putting away of the filth of the flesh, but the answer of a good conscience toward God by the resurrection of Jesus Christ, who is gone unto
uh,
heaven.
I did say 20 and 21.
Oh, I heard 23. Which sometime were disobedient, when once the long suffering of God waited in the days of Noah, while the ark was a preparing, wherein few, that is, 8 souls, were saved by water. The like figure, whereunto even baptism doth also now save us, not the putting away of the filth of the flesh, but the answer of a good conscience toward God by the resurrection of Jesus Christ.
Okay. So you take them over there and you point to it and says, Peter says, by inspiration,
Of
that
God.
baptism does save us. Well, baptism doesn't save us. It's not, no, that's not what that means. Peter was an what?
Inspired apostle.
He was an apostle. Inspired, yes, but he was an apostle.
Mm-hmm.
It's an apostle
Messenger.
more than a messenger,
Also an ambassador.
an ambassador, someone who speaks on behalf of
Mm-hmm. Of
his government.
course.
In other words,
Yeah.
as he says in 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 10, a dignitary.
Hmm. Is that what a dignitary is? Hmm.
Usually, when we use the word dignitary, we're looking at people who have been duly appointed um, as representatives of
Let's see.
government and stuff.
I hadn't even thought of thinking what this was. I was just operating on a dictator.
No, not the same.
Yeah, no, I mean, no, it's not a dignity.
Someone with dignity. Hmm.
Hmm. Opinion,
Um,
judgment,
what?
view.
Interesting.
Very splendor, brightness, excellence, majesty. A thing belonging to God. The
According
kingly
to
majesty which
a thing
belongs.
belonging to. Wait a minute. What did you say in verse 2? A thing belonging to God, the kingly majesty which belongs to him as supreme ruler, majesty in the sense of absolute perfection of the deity, a thing belonging to Christ. Okay. Looking at
Wow.
there's a lot there, isn't there?
There went all out in this one.
Looking at the word in Strong's, or not Strong's, in Webster's, dignitary means someone who holds high office, especially ecclesiastical, which means someone of the church.
Yeah, I'm on the right one. Weird.
So Mounts gives it someone with honor, basically,
Mm-hmm. Or reputation,
or
credit.
honorable, or majesty. So they're speaking evil of someone with honor, someone with that majesty, someone belonging to Christ or God,
Yeah, this is someone who is in a position of power or importance.
someone holding high office. So
Mm-hmm.
if they are speaking evil of um, Peter,
Yeah.
calling into question his honor, calling into question his message, his ambassadorship, or Paul or John or James or Jude.
Well, you know, there's a difference between calling into question these things and speaking evil of them. You know, we're
Well,
told to test the spirits.
we are told to test them. You're correct.
So we're supposed to logically go about and see, are these people who they say they are? But once you find out they are who they say they are, and you're going around speaking lies and such about them, that's a different story.
But there's a difference between questioning or testing and calling into question. The reason that I use that phrase is because when one calls into question, they're doing so in a slanderous manner, seeking to cause division or disorder.
Hmm. Of course, I hear the phrase and I think of the courtroom. Let's call into question so and so and
No.
see who he is. That's that's what I'm thinking of when I hear the
Well,
phrase call into question. Let's
in
find
in the
out.
courtyard in the courtroom, when they call in something into question, there again, it's not there again. They're seeking to besmirch, or they're seeking to put down the testimony. In the legal sense of the term, they are actually striving to reject that testimony.
I see.
So, I mean, you had a misunderstanding of the legal terminology there.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I just, yeah.
so there's a difference between questioning and
Mm-hmm.
calling into question. When you call into question, you cast doubt upon.
I see.
Is a better way to look at
Mm-hmm.
that.
And the phrase itself to me sounds like, all right, y'all, let's question this. Let's think
Right.
about this. That's what the phrase to me itself means. But I definitely can see how it's gotten to a more
Well,
slanderous twist.
think about this. Okay, someone is seeking to purchase some land, right? And somebody else wants that land, and suddenly you start hearing rumors,
Rumors.
and they're saying, "Hey, let's let's investigate this." There's some questions arising now about this or this proceeding, this thing. What are they seeking to do? What's the purpose?
Now, is
You
this
have
the
two
person?
parties. You have two parties going for the same piece of land, and one is suddenly questioning the goings on about the other.
Okay. Because if it was a third party, I'd say they were searching for truth. Okay, I hear all these rumors. What's the truth? But if it's one questioning the other, raising up all these things, yes, that's definitely
The
trying to
same,
put the guy
yeah,
into a bad light. Yeah.
right. And it's the same thing that happens in the political arena. It's the
Mm-hmm.
same,
Of course, and it also depends. Did he actually do said things? Because
or
if
is
he
some,
did,
or is person number two actually casting doubt, aspersions,
mm-hmm,
falsehoods, seeking to undermine and to cause division?
mm-hmm,
See,
right,
and so when they are doing this, what are they really doing? Are they not then speaking evil of people of high power, of people of high office?
Hmm.
You wanna say that one there, Shay? I'm looking at the reference here real quick.
What?
You can repeat that one.
Oh yeah, I have to repeat it because the audience doesn't know. Okay, CJ pulled up dictionary.com and
Freedictionary.com.
what?
Freedictionary.com.
Ooh,
It's different than dictionary.com
I see.
because he was looking up a phrase.
I see. And the phrase means what does dictionary.com say again? Okay. So dictionary.com says the phrase call into question means to
To cause to view with doubt.
yes, to cause a view with that. Thank you. Total just brain jam. Da, 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 da. Yeah. Or suspiciously.
Okay, let's imagine and let's look at someone who holds a high office in the church. First, First Timothy chapter 3,
Da, 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 da. First Timothy chapter 3.
beginning in verse 2.
Going
I'm going to want to read verse 2 and then verse 6 and 7.
okay. A bishop then must be blameless, a husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach. And then 6 and
7.
7. Not a novice,
Novice.
that's what I thought. Novice, lest being lifted up with pride, he fall into the condemnation of the devil. Moreover, he must have a good report of them which are without, lest he fall into reproach and the snare of the devil.
So this elder, this candidate for an eldership, must be blameless in the church, but
Yeah.
not just must be blameless in the church. He
Also,
needs to be blameless outside the church.
mm-hmm.
Now, he is blameless in the church if he's not a novice. He's also blameless outside the church if he's not a novice. Someone who is just starting along the path of Christianity. Um, Someone who has spent a lot of time studying and knows how to use his sword properly. A novice is someone who is just starting out, who doesn't know one end of the sword from the other, or barely knows one end of the sword from the other. Um, and verse 7, then he has to have a good report outside. Well, what happens then when if an elder has a good report, both inside and outside the church, someone comes in and begins to slander the elder? What happens?
Everyone knows that the person raising the accusations is most likely. There's a few, yeah, most likely telling falsehood because his reputation stands for itself.
He has an the person that's raising the questions has an ulterior motive, right?
Generally speaking, yes.
Has something that's going on behind. And that's the reason.
Mm-hmm.
But these people in Second Peter, they're not afraid to do just that. They're
Right.
not afraid to rail or speak evil against these people. That's all, folks. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
they're not afraid to speak evil of dignities, those in high positions of authority. Sam's frozen.
How'd it get so cold over there? Some people.
So
Mm-hmm.
so that's we may only get to verse to 10, but
Well, I mean, we had such a late start, both in real time and in stream time. I mean, it doesn't surprise me.
I don't. How long have we been going?
Um, we've been going for an hour and 11 minutes.
Nice.
We opened the Bible at
45 minutes.
45 minutes in. So, uh, so,
But
and I
go ahead.
another thing that needs to be brought out is, they tremble not, or what's the KJV say? They're not afraid. They don't give this a second thought.
Hmm.
They don't tremble. They don't go, well, wait a minute, maybe, they do it on a whim. It's one thing that if you have actual evidence against such a person and you have thought this out, you're doing this logically and rationally, not for the sake of causing division, but for finding truth and bringing about order. I mean, that's another different story. But these are people that just go at it on a whim. They make it up as they go. So and so did this, da da da. They speak evil. They try to ruin this person's reputation, etc., and so forth, without any thought, logic, or truth.
And one of the things that Christ teaches us, I don't have the reference right off the top of my head, but the Pharisees and the Sadducees came to him and um, wanted to know if they should give taxes unto Caesar.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that? And Christ said to them very plainly, he said, let me see a coin. They showed him one. He says, whose subscription is on that? Whose superscription's on that? They said, Caesar's. And so he says to them, render unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and unto God the things which are God's, which tells us that we are to be subject to God, but
Mm-hmm.
also unto the rules of men.
Yeah.
Paul reiterates that in Romans chapter 13. In Romans chapter 13, verse 1, he tells us very plainly,
Romans
well,
13.
Romans 13:1.
Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of God.
So Christians are simply to be subject unto those who are in authority. Now, this is not just referring to those in the church, not just referring to elders, but it's also referring to those who are in government,
Mm-hmm.
and specifically those in government as you read the context of Romans chapter 13, as I believe CJ did something in his Romans class. said something about that in his Romans class
CJ read context in Romans class.
once or twice.
CJ says no, he didn't.
Ah, gotcha.
I see. That makes a lot of sense.
Now, Paul also told the same thing to Titus in Titus chapter 2 when he tells Titus to teach those at Crete in, excuse me, not 2, Titus chapter 3. Titus chapter 3, verse 1, that he was to instruct those at Crete to be subject to principalities and powers, to obey magistrates, to be ready to every good work.
Yeah. So be ready to subject yourself and obey these to every good work. But once it crosses over from being a good work to wickedness, nope.
And that's what Peter says in Acts chapter 5, I believe it is. Who said I memorized it, CJ?
There's a difference between knowing something and memorizing it.
Acts chapter 5, verse 29. Which, by the way, I have memorized it. It's just not always. I'm getting old, CJ,
It's not
and
always on the tip
it's
of
not
the tongue.
always readily available as to the exact reference and stuff. So I knew it was in Acts, but I always get 4 and 5 confused because Acts chapter 4 says tells them to decide whether they it's more important to obey God or men.
And
And Acts chapter 5 tells them
well,
unequivocally we ought to obey God rather than men.
right.
So that's
See,
why I'm always confused as to which chapter it's in. Go ahead, O'Shea.
this is a file cabinet, and files get stuck in the back or get lost and aren't readily available. And our brains work like that. Sometimes you have to go digging to find out what it is. It's in
Yeah,
there.
and you don't want to see me do that on stream.
No, it's
People
in
think
there,
I'm people think I'm picking my nose.
right?
Mm, That's yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Has Ezra buffed that yet again? Okay, have him do that.
Sam says from his experience, they don't care. Their pride is in their way. They just go.
All right. So as we well, so the ultimate thing is that they presume too much.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And they're
when you when you
unruly.
when you get down to it, just like Sam says, the pride gets in the way. Well, it's because they presume to do. They presume they take upon themselves something that God has not given them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. CJ wants to know if there's a difference between presuming and assuming.
Yes.
Presuming is to assume, so it takes assume and takes it even further.
Isn't it acting? More like acting on the assumption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's. I'm gonna look up assume and show you, and then look up presume and or not show you, but read it to you.
Mm-hmm. I'll pull up presumptuous again.
Assume to suppose or accept or believe something to be true.
Audacious. Ooh, using some big words.
Daring, audacious, presumptuous. Um, so, so
And Thayer.
according to Strong's, presumptuous is taking the assumption and building their action upon it. They're daring, they're audacious because of their assumption. They assume something to be true and then they act upon it. Um,
ASV says daring instead of presumptuous. And ESV says bold and willful.
well,
You, I guess you could say it is possible to be presumptuous in a good way. I think because you can assume that someone needs cookies and then go make cookies and bring it to them.
that'd be asking too much in this house.
It would be, but I mean, I I don't think presumptuous is always malicious. It especially in this context, it's not a good thing.
I mean, there's multiple ways in which assume is used.
Mm-hmm.
For example, we can assume something to be true, or we can assume a disguise.
Right.
Um, we're assuming in both cases, but we're doing something that there's something different. There's a different result in both cases.
And this is the beautifully horrendous thing about English. It has different meanings. The word itself can have different meanings. In some cases, people use it instead of conclude. Well, I assume this, and they know it's true. It's not an assumption, it's a conclusion, but they say I assume. So, and like
Whereas
I gave the two
the
instances.
the the presume, the with the word presume, it is assuming something to be true and then taking
Mm-hmm.
upon oneself boldly or rashly to venture something
Mm-hmm.
based upon that assumption.
It's kind of like how faith is belief with action. Same idea, same basic idea. Presuming, presumptuous, is assuming with action.
It would be to put it in a biblical sense. We'll use Saul
Hmm.
because we already used him in the case. God said to Saul, He said, "Go and destroy the Amalekites. Leave nothing alive. Destroy people, all of them, men, women, children. Destroy all of their possessions, even down to their herds. Do not take anything." So, what did Saul do? He assumed that he could take the animals and sacrifice them to God.
He presumed that it would be all right to go against the God's head as long as he's offering them to him.
And so he assumed he could offer them to God
And then,
and presumed to do so. Was that what God wanted?
no, wrong answer.
Um, we still don't know why he saved Agag alive.
No,
We
well,
really don't understand why he saved Agag alive.
I suspect it was like a pride thing, but yeah, keep him as a
But of all the Amalekites to save alive, he saved the king. Well, no, because he killed all the people.
Yeah.
Now, another case for Saul,
Oh,
another issue with Saul. Prior to this, one of the reasons that
Sister J.
what?
Good night, Sister J.
Oh, okay, yeah, I think I said that already. Anyway,
I don't know.
um, United to see if I didn't. But another reason that Saul was rejected as king is because just a few times before, a few battles before,
I have here the only other instance the word presumptuous pops up. And can you guess where it's at? It's in Psalms.
keep back thy servant also from presumptuous sins. Okay, um, going to First Samuel 13.
Did I just hear CJ go,
No, that was me.
oh, okay. It sounded like a CJ noise.
Sam, this goes along with what Sam was saying about he's also assuming he could sacrifice. Um,
For
First Samuel
Samuel.
chapter 13. Really?
Wow.
Mice on Harleys.
Wow.
Um, in verse 8,
Yes, CJ, we heard that.
sure.
I
And
could
he
almost.
tarried 7 days according to the set time that Samuel had appointed. But Samuel came not to Gilgal, and the people were scattered from him. So what does Paul do, or Saul do?
I gotta make
Saul
this sacrifice.
assumes Saul assumes that since he is king and Samuel's not coming, it's okay for him to offer a sacrifice, right?
Mm-hmm. Never.
Samuel's not coming. I'm king. I can offer a sacrifice.
That was pretty
Samuel's not a
presumptuous.
Levite. What?
I said that was pretty presumptuous of him.
Well, he assumed this to be the true.
Mm-hmm.
Samuel's not coming. I need a sacrifice.
Yep. Someone has to
I'll
do it.
do it. And so he, what? No, Samuel was of the tribe of Ephraim. Samuel was a prophet of God. He was also a judge, by the way. But yes, evidently,
Technically speaking, so is Saul.
um, Saul was a son of. Well, yeah, he was a prophet too.
Yeah, he was numbered with the prophets.
But anyway, in if you CJ, if you look at the opening chapter of Samuel, in the opening verse, there was a certain man of Ramoth Zophim, or Ramathaim Zophim of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zuph, an Ephrathite.
And well, you got to remember who raised Samuel, who played
Hmm.
a large portion, Eli. And so perhaps from God's point of view, he could have been considered a Levite because
Mm-mm.
It was almost a father to him.
He was, but remember how God did not let just any Levite offer sacrifices.
Right.
And if he didn't let just any Levite, he would not let an Ephraimite. Because remember, that was one of the things in Hebrews that was discussed about Jesus. He
Yes.
was not of the tribe of Levi, therefore he was not, he was not supposed to be offering sacrifices, but God made him of the, you know,
Yes.
ordained him after the order of Melchizedek.
And
So
of
anyway,
course, Samuel was kind of a special incident.
like I said, he was a prophet of God and ordained by God.
Hmm.
Ergo, he was a judge as well. And so, because, so basically he had an office similar to Moses.
And we have instances of several of the other judges offering sacrifices, and they weren't Levites.
So,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I mean, look at,
Hmm.
um, what's his name in the 300? Jerubbaal. Gideon. There you go. Not Jerubbaal. Anyway, but yeah, Gideon, he offered sacrifice,
Hmm.
after he tore down the altar to Baal. But anyhow, so back with what this was, this thing. Well, I'm king and I can offer sacrifice. He assumed, but he had not been ordained by God to offer sacrifice.
Right.
And
He acted on a whim.
what was the whole purpose of him waiting for Samuel?
So that Samuel could offer the sacrifice.
Yeah,
That's why he was there.
I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to read here to see exactly what. Yes, look at verse 8 again. According to the set time.
Hmm. They were supposed to be there.
Yeah, he tarried 7 days according to the set time that Samuel had appointed.
They
So
scheduled it.
Samuel had said, in 7 days, I'm going to be at Gilgal and I'm going to offer sacrifice.
Hmm.
But Samuel didn't make it there in 7 days. And so Saul assumes Samuel's not going to come. People are scattering from me. I need to offer sacrifice. And he presumes to offer sacrifice. And Samuel comes at the end of the sacrifice, and Saul goes out to meet him. And Samuel says, "What hast thou done?" Verse 11. Saul says, "Well, because I saw that the people were scattered from me. You didn't come within the days appointed. The Philistines were gathered themselves together in Michmash. Therefore said I, Philistines will come down now upon me to Gilgal, and I have not made supplication unto the Lord. I forced myself, therefore, and offered a burnt offering."
I'm sure we've all been in the situation where we felt like we had to force ourselves to do something, but this isn't a good way.
And Samuel says, "Thou hast done foolishly," verse 13. "Thou hast not kept the commandment of the Lord thy God, which he commanded thee. For now would the Lord have established thy kingdom upon Israel forever. But now thy kingdom shall not continue. The Lord hath sought him a man after his own heart, and the Lord hath commanded him to be captain over his people, because thou hast not kept that which the Lord commanded thee." So the difference between assuming and presuming, well, presuming takes assuming and acts upon it in a bold manner, in a daring and what was the word here? Rash
Hmm.
way. Another way to look at it is to take advantage. of or rely on something or someone more than is warranted. To usurp or to anticipate an assumption. So these people here in First Peter or Second Peter 2:10 that are speaking or that are yeah that are despising government are very
The people that God knows how to reserve.
one again they're fulfilling their own desires. So they're
Mm-hmm.
walking after the flesh in filling their own desires. They're despising authority that God has set up,
Mm-hmm.
and um, they are unjust. They are presumptuous. They are self-willed. Whose will is supposed to reign in our lives?
God's. God's will be done.
And when David or the psalmist says, "Keep me from presumptuous sins," the reason I said "wow" is because these are sins of assumption,
Mm-hmm.
of rash action based upon a um, false
It's a false premise.
yeah, false premise would be a
I
good
mean,
one for it.
it's something that you assume. You don't know if it's true or not.
You just
You,
you believe it true,
you
whether it
believe
is
it
or
to
not.
be true. But yeah, so it's a presumptuous. It's a yeah. Anyways.
You it's because you want to believe it,
Mm-hmm.
not because it is, but you want to believe that it's true.
Mm-hmm.
When I was talking with the gal Monday night, uh, she was making the comment about how there were so many that were leaving the church, and I told her, I says it's because they don't want to believe, they don't want to obey the word of God, and it breaks my heart
Mm-hmm.
because you know her dad's preacher had sent her information saying you don't have to be baptized to be saved. And I said, well, that information that he sent you or they sent you contradicts what Jesus himself said in
Mm-hmm.
Mark 16, verses 15 and 16. What Jesus himself said in Matthew 28, verses 18 through 20.
What Jesus said through Peter.
What
What
Jesus said
Jesus
through
said.
Peter, and I says, that's what,
Mm-hmm.
so anyone who tries to tell you that is counteracting, the Lord's own words. And I'd rather follow what Jesus says than what man says.
Choose you this day.
So we have to be careful that we don't let our desires, we don't walk after the flesh and let our desires dictate what we do and do not obey when it
Mm.
comes to what God has determined.
And I think a lot of this goes towards the don't be rash. A lot of these being presumptuous, that's being rash. You assume something and you act upon it rashly. I mean, you don't wait to find out whether the assumption is true or not. So you're rash in that, in your action. Being self willed, that tends to be a rashful thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like Jeremiah says, that the heart is Is it the heart? The heart is evil?
I believe so.
Well, what he's talking about is that our emotions,
Yes.
our emotions often lead us astray because if we just rely upon our emotions for making our decisions, we're going to be in trouble.
Yes.
Um, because our emotions change so frequently, so rapidly that nothing's held back.
And emotions aren't grounded in truth most of the time.
And thank
Thank
you,
you, CJ.
Jeremiah 17:9. And so we need to make sure that we don't let our emotions rule and determine how we act because that's acting rashly.
Mm-hmm.
That's acting without rationale, which is totally different than rational. Have you been watching Junction Conjunction?
Can you? Now, do you have permission to? Yeah, I did.
I still couldn't hear that. All I heard was static.
Really?
Hmm.
That's funny. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And what is it? What did you say that was? Jeremiah what? Oh, 17:9. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? That's right after Jeremiah says, "Blessed is the man who trusteth in the Lord and who hope the Lord is. For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and that spreadeth out its roots by the river, and shall not see when the heat cometh. But its leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit." Jeremiah 17:7 and 8. Anyhow, so we got one verse.
Why?
We got started late.
Not at all what I'm talking about.
What? No rumble?
No, 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 no,
I was gonna
no.
say, yeah, we had rumble.
No, 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 no. I'm just all of a sudden noticed that my name banner
Is on the right hand side, and
and doesn't have a border. You can't hardly see it. Why
work
all of
for
a
me.
sudden the change? Why?
All stream.
Oh no, not when we're in the other scene. In the other scene, it was normal, I think. I mean, it didn't bother me that much, but yeah. Yeah, see, it's normal over here. Why?
I'm still frozen.
Oh, y'all.
Well, hopefully and prayerfully, we have been able to edify you as we studied one verse in Second Peter chapter 2. That way, whether we wake tomorrow to serve God here on this earth, or we wake tomorrow to serve God up there where we all long to be, where we'll have the pleasure, privilege, and honor of being. Or we'll see you then. Don't forget that we have a gospel meeting coming up Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Uh,
Spontaneously.
Spontaneously.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So hopefully you'll be looking forward to that. It'll take the evening edification slot Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Anyway, and we'll see you then. God bless in your walk with Him. I
Thank you
love
all
you
for
all.
being here. Thank you for putting up with our technology difficulties, technical difficulties, for and putting up with the shenanigans. And we hope that we've been able to edify, to encourage, to uplift, etc., and so forth. Till we meet again, God bless you all. Stay safe and stay strong. Love you. Bye bye.
Bye.